So today we're going to show you how to change a tubeless tire. As you can see, I got two new tires here, but since I'm riding in Florida, I'm going to go with this tire that's a little less aggressive on the tread and save the other one for when I need it more. I have some tubeless sealant here. You can use whatever brand you want, but I'm using Stan's, which is fairly common. With that, I also have my tire lever to help me get the last part of the tire wall onto the rim because it can be a little bit tricky. Alright, so first things first, make sure the sidewalls on the wheel and the tire are both clean so you have a good surface for the new sealant to bond. It's very important. Really take your time and get it clean and ready to go. Then you need to make sure the air valve is inserted and screwed on tightly if it's not already in the wheel. As in my case, I had the air valve out because I actually had to replace it with a tube when it went bad on me. So make sure that's in properly, and if it's not screwed on tightly, you can lose more air out of that as well. Next, you should check the tire for any spin direction marks. Alright, this is going to tell you which way you need to put the tire on when you're going forward. This next part, not everybody does, but I like to do it as a good habit. So what I do is I match the pressure information on the tire with the valve. That way they're lined up before I even start doing the beads. Now you install one of the sides of the tires all the way around, making sure that it's set in properly along the edge of the rim. Alright, by the way, now that I have a second, I do not recommend changing your tire in the living room of your house. I may or may not be speaking from experience when I say leaving tire marks and small amounts of stands on your living room floor will probably not make your girlfriend very happy, and you might end up spending a decent amount of time scrubbing it off. Hypothetically speaking, of course, right? Anyway, once you have that first bead set, you're going to do the same thing on the other side and insert that edge all the way around, starting at the valve. Except this time, you don't do the whole thing. You're going to want to stop and leave a small portion of it undone. That way you can pour the stands into the tire before you seal it off. You can see I left this little section at the bottom of the tire open. Now, I'm not sure why my camera didn't catch me installing the stands, but all you need to do is read the label for the recommended amount. It's usually about 2 to 3 ounces, that's what I put in, and put it into the section of the tire that you left open. Very simple. Once it's in, you can finish installing the rest of the bead and sealing the stands inside. Before you inflate the tire, you're going to want to slowly rotate the sealant all the way around the tire to get the entire thing coated. That way the tire actually sets properly. Now again, if you're hand pumping, you'll need to start a lot faster to set the bead since it will be losing air. You'll need to push in air faster than it's losing, otherwise you're going to push all the sealant out of your tire and onto your girlfriend's floor and still have a deflated tire. That one I did not do. Anyway, make sure you pump the tire fast. If you're doing it right, you'll hear a few loud pops, and that's completely normal. That means the bead is setting and your tire will hold. Alright, now that your tire is inflated, it's time to check that both beads are seated properly along the entire wheel on both sides. If not, you will have to deflate it and adjust it and then inflate it back up to make sure it's in right. You do not want to go out there with an improperly seated bead. Finally, just rotate the wheel around and get the sealant all over the inside of the tire, ready to plug up any of those little sweat spots in the tires, or in the off chance you get a flat when you go out and ride, it'll seal it up. As you can see, I'm a big fan of the backward tire rotate. Again, pay no attention to the tire marks I left on the living room floor. It was not a good time. Anyway, now you're ready to put that wheel back on your bike and get out and ride. So that's really all there is to it. It's very simple once you know what you're doing. I hope this video was helpful and you guys have a better idea of how to put on a tubeless tire now. The very first time I ever had to do it, I actually watched a video very similar to this one and I paused it every step of the way. It helped me out a lot. I recommend that you do the same thing. Feel free to use this video. Hopefully that'll help you as well. As always, happy riding.